This is the Texas STAAR 2013 geometry test, and this is question number 11. It says, a conditional statement is given below. If two interior angles of a triangle are acute, then the third interior angle must be obtuse. Which of the following best describes this statement? And then I noticed that two of the answer choices say the statement is true for a reason, and two of them say the statement is false for a reason. So I understand what's being asked of me. I got to read those multiple choice answers and figure out which of them describes the statement, whether it's true or false and why. So my plan is I'm gonna try to figure out if it's true or false first, so I can eliminate two of the answer choices, and then I'll make a decision from there. So let me think about that. Well, can I make a counterexample that would prove that false? Again, it says if two interior angles of a triangle are acute, I know the interior angles have to add up to 180. That might be useful. Then the third interior angle must be obtuse. So what if my angles were really acute? They were really small. So I had, say they were both 10 degrees. So my triangle might look something like that, maybe even flatter. Those are both 10. And I know the angles have to add up to 180, so this would have to be 160, right? So is that a counterexample? Does that prove the statement false? Well, no, because the statement says the third angle must be obtuse. So could we draw a triangle where the third angle is acute? Or even right? Well, what about a equilateral triangle where they're all 60 degrees? I've got two acute angles, and the statement says the third angle must be obtuse, but I know this one also has to be 60. So I've made a counterexample, so I've proved the statement false. So I can rule out choice A and C. So let's look at these choices. So B says the statement is false because the third interior angle must also be acute. Well, here's an example here where it's not acute. It doesn't have to be acute. It could be obtuse. It could be acute like this one. And choice D says the statement is false because the third interior angle can be acute, right, or obtuse. Yeah, that sounds true. Here it is acute. Here it is obtuse. And yeah, maybe we could have a right triangle. How about a 30, 60, 90 right triangle? 30 and 60 are acute, and 90 degrees is not obtuse. So I'm going to choose D. How could I check that? Well, I could read choices A and C, I guess. A says the statement is true because all obtuse triangles have two acute interior angles. Well, that statement's true, but that doesn't mean our statement is true. This statement here is true, but that doesn't mean our statement has to be true. And choice C says this statement is true because a triangle can have at most one interior obtuse angle. Well, again, that is true, but that does not mean our statement is true. So if you had read those, you might have been tempted to pick them just because they're saying something that is true, but that has no consequence on our problem, which we know, on our statement, which we know is false. Okay, hope that helps.